Hi, this is Kathy here, and in this little video we're going to take a look at the InDesign template that you're going to be using. I have opened this up already in InDesign to save time, but obviously you will find the template in the assignment itself under the link for this step. And you'll see that InDesign templates work with a series of frames. These frames can be used to insert text, as in this place here, which is where you're going to insert your 300-word essay. They can also be used to place JPEGs or vector art like an Illustrator file, and that's exactly what you're going to be doing here. Let's start first by placing the sketches that you made. And we're going to use the place command because InDesign is software that is used to assemble many different kinds of information, many different types of files. And so best practice for most applications for this is to first place the file, and in that case you get a small size, low resolution thumbnail of the file put into your master file, your InDesign document. Then later on, when you're happy with everything, you can embed the link. This puts the whole high resolution file into your document and makes it a much bigger, weightier document, of course. So let's see how that looks. We're going to take the black selection tool. We're going to start by selecting this frame here, which is obviously one of the places where we want to put our sketches. Then we're going to go File, and we're going to use, instead of opening a file, or copying a file, we're going to use the place command. Click on that, please. And of course you get a chance now to navigate to the place where you have put your parts and pieces of A4, assignment 4. And I have a little file like that for a few things that I've got in here. I have a few of those sketches. You'll have 5 of them. I've just got 2, but let's grab one of them here, and we're going to open it. And because I had this frame already selected with my black selection tool, the little critter went right in there. Now you'll notice that a little circle has opened up in the center of the frame, and that there's a hand when I mouse over it, and this means that I can push my picture around within that frame. Now you'll notice when I do that, this brown outline appears, which shows me how big my little picture is, my sketch 1, relative to the frame, and you'll see it's a lot bigger. So I can use that frame as sort of a cropping box if I want, right, by moving it around with that little drag circle. But that's not what I want to do. I want my picture to fit right within the frame. So we're going to fit it in by going Object, Fitting, and because I have sized my little JPEG sketch to be a square, and because I know it's bigger than the square I've got there, I'm going to ask InDesign to fit the content to the frame. And when I click that, then suddenly the whole thing fits exactly to the edges of the frame. I'm going to select away so that that frame is no longer selected, and you'll see now that there is a little link here. This is my visual cue that I don't have the full information on that file. It still has to be embedded. But this does mean that if I were to make any changes to that photograph of a sketch, that those changes would show up in here as long as I don't move that file to a different address. What InDesign has done is it has linked the address of that little sketch and a thumbnail of it to this master document. What happens if I place a file when I don't have a frame selected? Let's look at that. We're going to place my other file. We're going to go File, Place, and this time we're going to take sketch 2, which is some other student's sketch. We're going to open it, and now I get that same little postage stamp sized picture of the thing I'm placing that you would get if you were placing a file in an Illustrator document. So I'm going to click on the frame that I want to put it in, which is this one, and again it's going to go right in there. It went in much bigger because if we move it around you can see its edges, right? Our JPEGs, I told you to make them about 3 inches, and these are more like 2 inches. We're going to go Object, Fitting, And there are many, many different choices here for fitting. I'm going to let you explore those if you want, just to keep this efficient, because for our purposes today, fit content to frame will work beautifully. And the others are all sensible and you will use them for other applications. But today, fit content to frame is just what we want to do. I'm now going to select this frame. This is the frame for the final Illustrator rendering, which by now you should have created. And we're going to go Place. I have a completely different final Illustrator rendering made by a student named Megan. And just in case it's I think it's exactly the right size for this frame, but just in case it's a little tiny bit different, I'm still going to go through the object, fitting, fit content to frame. Now, if I select away, you will see that you're going to have 5 little critters in here. I've got just 2 of the small sketches and then the finished sketch here. But I'd like to show you how to embed these links. For our purposes, we don't really need to use this feature of InDesign, but it is a very important feature that you can place a thumbnail in there that is very lightweight so that you have a file you could easily, say, email to someone or store in your computer without it taking up a lot of room. But when we're finished, we do want to embed those links. So we're going to go to the links window here, and I'm going to click on it. If you don't see this menu here on the side, you can always go, just as you would in Illustrator, you can go Window Links to open the links window. And then you see all 3 of the things that are linked. I'm going to select all 3 of these by shift-clicking on them. And then I'm going to go to this little menu up here and click on Embed Link. And when I do that, you will notice that those little blue icons that you saw a moment ago have disappeared, and now those links are embedded. Okay? If you don't embed your links when you first open the document, please don't move your Illustrator rendering and your sketches until you get them embedded. Otherwise, InDesign will give you a question mark and you won't be able to find them. Okay, so this little menu right here, just to mention that again, it's a little set of horizontal stripes. You click on that, and that will give you the chance to embed your links. Now it's giving me the chance to disembed the links or unembed them, which obviously I don't want to do. The one last thing that you need to know how to do is put your statement in this frame. And I am going to suggest, rather than placing it, that you simply copy and paste your statement in there. And to do that, I'm simply going to go to the Finder and grab that statement. There we go. I'm going to copy it, and I'm simply going to take the text tool. I'm simply going to take the text tool and paste it in. Now, when I did that, you will notice that the information down at the bottom of the box disappeared, right? So we're seeing that same little red icon that I showed you when we were talking about the type tools. This indicates that there is text that should be in this box that isn't showing because things are too small. So what can you do to get that text to show? You really need to get that text to show because that's where your name goes, right? So one thing you might do is take this essay and give it a smaller point size. It's 12 point now. What if we make it 11 point? Let's see if and let's see if I can, there might be some returns here that I could delete. There we go. Now my name is coming up. I can simply type my name in here, although this was not written by me, of course. Art 120, and this is spring quarter, or whatever quarter and year this happens to be, of course. So I'm going to put I would normally, of course, put my full name. I am recommending that you paste this in rather than place it in. Please don't neglect to mention the text fonts, and please remember that we want to see your color scheme, right? I have to say, this statement was not written to go with this particular color scheme. That is not Courier font in there. but whatever your font or fonts are, it would be nice to have you mention them. You are welcome, of course, to draw your words by hand, but if you do use fonts, please mention them in your statement so that others can say, ooh, I like that font. I'd like to use it too. Okay, you'll notice that my little red mark has disappeared now because I've got everything, all the text that was present is now within the box. The last thing that you're going to do is export your file, and you're going to export it to, first of all, PDF. And you can save this, please save it with your name in it. You can call it assignment 4 or whatever you want, but please make sure that you put your name not only here in the statement, but also in the file name itself, and save it to wherever you want to save it. I'll put it in A4 parts and pieces. There we go. So that I have a record of this and so that you get to see these other screens. I'm just going to go ahead and say export here. And then the other thing that I want you to do is export it as a JPEG. The reason for this is that you cannot embed a PDF in the discussion, and so you're going to need to upload both of these to Canvas, one to submit for the assignment and one simply to upload to your files so that you can have it be able to be embedded in the discussion. Go ahead and give it a 300 resolution, and the RGB color space works great for the JPEG. We want high quality, yeah, so that we can see it well. Go ahead and export it, and you should be good to go. When you save your InDesign files, always save, you can always save it as a regular InDesign file, of course, but it's also good to save it as the InDesign CS4 IDML version. I mentioned this in the assignment itself. And the reason for that is that InDesign is especially sensitive, it seems, to older versions, and you may have difficulties opening this on a computer that has an older version of InDesign installed. I would save it as the IDML and also save it in the InDesign 2020 format so that you get the current version as well. Okay? I think that's everything, and I will enjoy looking at your InDesign assembly. Good luck. Have fun.